UK, Switzerland and France, October 23, 2025.
La maison n'a plus de toit.
Flood alerts have been issued across England as Met Office weather warnings come into effect. Storm Benjamin, as named by Meteo France, is set to bring heavy downpours and strong winds to parts of the UK on Thursday, October 23. The Met Office has issued 4 yellow weather warnings over possible disruption. It said wind and rain could lead to flooding, power cuts, and travel disruption. The weather agency added that damage to buildings was possible with a small chance of injuries and danger to life being caused by large waves and beach material thrown onto seafronts and coastal roads. A yellow warning for rain covering most of southern England, the East Midlands, parts of Wales and Yorkshire will be in place until 6 p.m., with 20 to 30 millimeters of rain expected quite widely and some places likely seeing 30 to 50 millimeters. A further yellow warning for rain for most of East Anglia and Lincolnshire will be in place from midnight until 9 p.m. A wind warning is also in place for those areas and much of southeast England from 3 a.m. to midnight. The Met Office said gusts of 50 to 60 miles per hour are probable quite widely in the warning area, with 65 to 70 miles per hour possible near coasts. There is also an additional yellow wind warning for Cornwall, Devon and the west coast of Wales from 6 a.m. until 3 p.m., with gusts of up to 45 miles per hour expected widely within this area. Below is a full list of flood alerts in England, issued by the Environment Agency, as of 11:30 a.m. on Thursday. Gusts of 40 to 45 miles per hour were expected fairly widely, whilst 50 to 55 miles per hour winds were possible along some exposed coasts. Whilst winds will remain strong along the East Anglia coast into Thursday night, the likelihood of impacts will decrease. The latest update read, Storm Benjamin, a deep area of low pressure named by Meteo France, is now tracking away from the UK, and its impacts are gradually diminishing. In France and Switzerland, Storm Benjamin moved across Switzerland on Thursday, bringing strong winds and heavy rainfall in some areas. Gusts of up to 130 kilometers per hour were recorded in the lowlands and up to 148 kilometers per hour in the mountains. Rail and road disruptions were reported in French-speaking Switzerland. On the plains, a gust of 128 kilometers per hour was recorded at Le Bouveret vs. at 10 a.m. and others at 125.3 kilometers per hour at Beer VD and 110.5 kilometers per hour at 9 VD. A maximum of 84.6 kilometers per hour was recorded at Geneva, 93.2 at Neuchâtel, 94 at Delamont and 96.1 at Saint-Prex, VD. At altitude, a peak of 145.1 kilometers per hour was recorded at Les Diablerets VD, 140 kilometers per hour at La Dole VD, 134 kilometers per hour at Mulsanne FR, and 131 kilometers per hour at Chasseral B. On a national scale, the record goes to Pilatus, OW, with 148.3 kilometers per hour. The passage of this storm in the morning was accompanied by heavy rainfall in places, sometimes thundery and regionally abundant, particularly in the Western Alps and the Jura, according to Meteo Swiss. The peak was expected at midday, giving way to clear spells, but stormy winds could persist until the evening or even into the night at higher altitudes.
Guys, sobrang lakas ng hangin dito, guys. Tingnan niyo yan, guys.
Several trees fell in the force of the wind, disrupting transport, but only to a limited extent. In the canton of Neuchâtel, the Gorges du Seine, the main road linking Neuchâtel to La Chaux-de-Fonds in the uphill direction, was closed after a tree fell before reopening around 11 a.m. Secondary roads are also blocked, and the cantonal police are advising the population to stay indoors. SBB has announced several disruptions before a return to normal despite some delays, particularly between Biel and Moutier, Biel and La Chaux-de-Fonds, Delemont and Basel, and Aigle and Vevey. Traffic is still restricted on the cross-border route between La Chaux-de-Fonds and Besançon, as well as between Beer and Morges and between Payerne and Merton. According to the newspaper La Côte, a tree fell on a bus carrying about 15 people in Giverens VD, but no one was injured. The Vaud Fire Department received some 600 calls and responded about 100 times during the morning, mainly due to falling trees, again without causing any injuries. The canton of Geneva announced about 60 interventions for the same reason. In Geneva, the city announced the closure of all parks until further notice due to the gusts. All CGN and Mouettes Genevoises lines have been suspended. In Neuchâtel, the Botanical Garden has also been closed. In Beer VD, an electricity pylon collapsed under the force of the wind, but no power cuts were announced in French-speaking Switzerland, unlike in France. Meteo Swiss had issued a level 3 alert, or marked danger, for Thursday with the arrival of Benjamin, a storm of unusual intensity so early in the season. Almost all of French-speaking Switzerland and the Central Plateau are affected. The Prealps are at level 2, while Ticino and Graubünden are at alert 1.
Lakas ng hangin.